So I come to you from the mountains of Oaxaca, Mexico, and if you've seen my other videos, that probably comes as a bit of a surprise because previously I was working on my land in northern Maine. So the question is why I am here in Mexico and why I haven't posted for 4 months. So let's start with why I haven't posted for 4 months. Basically, after I had received that forwarding trailer, and there was actually a clip in the video where I was assembling it where in one scene there's no snow, and the next scene there's snow. From that point on, Maine has just seen basically a never-ending onslaught of precipitation. From the moment that machine set wheel, I guess, on my land, it was a never-ending battle against the mud. And so I really had to time my operations very carefully. During the initial phases of the harvest, I was going out every morning when it was below freezing and stopping after I got above freezing and all the ice thawed and it got muddy again. And basically that just wasn't very conducive to producing a lot of content. It was very difficult to do that. So I had managed to truck a couple loads of wood, most of it unfilmed. And, then I stopped for the winter. I edited out all the videos that I had collected and I had posted the last one back in May. And since then, there's been silence because I was really hoping to continue that harvest operation. But if you live in Maine or even in New England, you know that we had one of the rainiest summers that we have had in years. It was just nonstop rain all around. We had several storms that were just, 3 inches of rain in 1 hour. I think there were some areas around Lewiston that got 5 inches in an hour. It was just insane. And the thing about my land is it's kind of poorly drained to begin with. To be able to actually use a machine on that land or, even to walk on it without getting your shoes all wet, you need a decent window of dry weather. And it just never came. So I was waiting all summer to be able to do that, and it just never came. So in the meantime, while I was waiting for that window to come, I was working on content for my website. I was working on other projects that will be announced soon, and basically, I was never able to finish it. So unfortunately, that is going to remain on the shelves for now. So the next question is, why I am here in Mexico, and the easy answer to that is I hate the snow. I also love Mexico, but I hate the snow. And so luckily the past few years I've been working remotely and I've been fortunate enough to be able to come down here during the winter. And this year I actually decided to ride my motorcycle all the way from Maine to here in Oaxaca in southern Mexico. And that was just an absolute blast. Now the good news is I'm going to be able to keep producing content. Even though it's a little disappointing, looking at the analytics, a lot of the videos I did about the harvest weren't very popular. They might have been a little too technical, a little too niche, and ultimately that's because they were videos I wanted to make. But they didn't appeal to a broader audience. At the time of posting this, I have about 2,000 subscribers, and half of them came from one video about how much a tree is worth, which is more broad. So I'm going to continue making forestry content, but it's going to be probably a little more broad and not necessarily about actively managing your land, but just more about forestry in general, forestry principles, and hopefully a little bit of economic analysis too, because that's something I really enjoy. On top of that, since I am here in Mexico, I really want to showcase some Mexican forestry. A lot of these forests around here are public land and they are managed communally. And there's actually a community just to the north of me here, a few kilometers away, called Itzlan de Juarez. And they're famous as a community for managing their own forest and even running their own seed nursery and so on. So while I'm still, building connections and also building upon my Spanish skills to be able to do that, but I really hope to be able to bring you some of that content because I think a lot of the businesses and industries around here in Mexico are really cool. And because in Latin America in general, a lot of the philosophy is to do as much as possible with as little as possible. I think there's probably a lot of lessons for a lot of small landowners. So stay tuned for some of that content. So that's really all I wanted to say. This is really more of just a channel update and to fill you guys in on what exactly happened with my harvest project. And that's not to say that that content won't return in the future. It almost certainly will. It just, I just had very bad luck with the weather this summer. So anyway, stay tuned guys, subscribe, all that stuff that you hear all the time, and I'll catch you later.